show is not suitable for children, sensitive men, or insecure women. Can you trust somebody that doesn't take care of their kids?
I don't trust no man on earth that does not take care of their children.
What's the biggest red flag in a relationship?
Low effort and not being honest.
Most of the time, you would think that a bad financial mistake would be spending money on clothes or vacation or like spending money on women. My worst financial mistake was buying a home.
Like a king, give me my crown.
Game time. Game time. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Hey, we back.
What's the deal?
Man, how you feeling, my brother?
I'm good, man. How you?
Y'all was on tour?
Yeah, man.
Real quick.
One hell of a night tour.
I ain't mad at it.
One hell of a night tour, man. It was definitely a good run. We was in Miami. We was in Atlanta. Got some good content out of that people will be seeing real soon.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went to Miami. Shout out to AJ, Cardi B, the whole team. You know, she did her thing. And then we came back, New York.
Back to it.
Back to it, man.
You gotta have some balance. Do you believe in a balanced life? Is that possible? When people are like, yo, you have to strive for balance.
Nah, ain't no such thing as balance.
It's a myth. That and delegation at scale tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Nah, you gotta hustle.
For sure.
You gotta hustle.
Yeah.
In this world, for sure. How you feeling?
Amazing. Happy to be here. Monday show was great. This show, it's a lot to talk about. It is a lot to talk about. So yeah, I'm in a good space.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to it. We got the brother Yahki, Dr. Yahki coming on later. Mm-hmm. A lot of health questions that I got. I'm sure you have as well.
Me too, yep.
That's going to be really, really, really educational, insightful. And do remember, tomorrow we have a very important episode. Julian Brown, brother whose mission is to turn plastic into fuel for cars at scale. 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's one of them ones, man.
One of the most important conversations, probably, in the history of the platform.
We talk about STEM.
Oh, really? Okay.
The future of no, I'm just saying we talk about STEM all the time. As far as like that is STEM. Like that's STEM. When you talk about science, technology, engineering, mathematics, all of those words is what he's actually living in real life, in real time. So, we definitely need more Black people to be in science outside of what he's doing, because what he's doing is amazing. Yeah. But we need more Black people to be in science. We need more Black people to be in technology. We need more Black people to be in engineering, and we need more Black people to be masters of mathematics. He's actually all four.
He our Tony Stark. He is our Tony Stark. And to be able to pull off what he's doing when he achieves scale, I can't wait for the interview for sure.
Well, appreciate it. So yeah, check that out tomorrow at 12 o'clock. And we got Troy's options class tomorrow also at 7 o'clock. So check that out. There's a lot of options that's been going crazy.
Like Micron? I heard it went up. I checked the market. So got my little options calculator. I said, "Ooh, got you. Did it on you, Gecko."
Oh man. All right, but yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Ian, any announcements before we start?
Yeah, I got to do my birthday shout out. Shout out to Stephanie, happy belated birthday. Aaron, Sion, my cousin Jaleesa, love you dearly. Stock Club call will be April 26th at 9 p.m. Central. Cooking up, check Kajabi tonight for prices for Stock Club. I will see you guys at the NVIDIA tour, and then Pullman Yards on the 22nd in Atlanta with Dr. John Hope Bryant. Kudos to the Black Effect team, Charlamagne Dolly, everyone. Love y'all dearly. Let's make some coin and let's have an amazing show.
Shout out to Charlamagne and the whole Black Effect Network. Yeah. Make sure you get your tickets to that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, last thing. InvestFest. April 20th is the deadline for the pitch competition. It has been extended. The singles room is in effect. Kendra G will be hosting that for all singles. If you have an InvestFest ticket, it's free for you. You just go into the website and click the tab. First 300 people, first come, first serve. And there will be a black tie VIP night. and we got a lot more announcements that we'll be making soon. But get your tickets investfest.com.
Yeah.
I would like to start off with this this Gucci Man situation, just to get it out the way early.
And it's rap related, so
definitely. He made a song, and it had people puzzled. Where he made a diss record, kind of outlining the alleged robbery that took place, and talking about how he had to sign a contract under duress, and how he thought it was a business meeting, but it was really a setup. It kind of just laid it out. It's like a police statement that you would give to a police. So is he snitching? Is Gucci Man snitching? Does it even matter if he's snitching? I heard Charlamagne say something like, look, we talking more about if Gucci Man is snitching and not why did Pooh Shiesty allegedly commit a federal crime with his father while being on house arrest. Like, that should be the real conversation.
We had the conversation.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people have had the conversation. And I know there was some pushback around, him being owed 25 to 28. I talked to some people in the music industry, and they're like, he easily could have owed him 20. That music industry is a dirty game. Now, was it wrong that he did it? Absolutely. But did Gucci tell? It's obvious. And thank God to my family and everyone who sacrificed for me so I didn't have to go that route. So I'm not in street business. But y'all, what's the confusion? Last week, I thought he didn't make a statement. Now they're saying he did. Now, I was in Atlanta in 05, 06, 07, that BMF era when there was real friction. And I remember that time when there was no telling, regardless of what happened. Shout out to everybody in MacTown, prayers and blessings and thoughts to the family with that situation that happened. So to go from that to evolve and say, I'm going to give a statement and detail it in a song is kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. Shout out to Waka. My first thought was Waka was giving this up, though, 10 years ago about how he was moving business-wise. Shout out to OJ the Juice Man. It's a few of them, and I'm out of Atlanta business. I don't want no issues. But if you've heard the details of how business is done there, it's a little bit tricky. So, but do you think he told? And the song was terrible on top of that. The
song is definitely one of the worst rap diss songs I ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Look, he ratted. Now to the people that's like, he's a citizen, he's
changed.
He did it like, here's my thing, right? And I'm with D1 on this. This is something that D1 said that actually made a lot of sense when he's talking to Big Bank. If you promoted a certain lifestyle for 20 years, you can be redeemed. Anybody's able to redeem themselves and to change at any given time. But you can't say things publicly and redeem privately. Now, Gucci has been doing a good job. I want to really commend him on his mental health journey, and I feel like he has, but he's still rapping the same thing that he rapped about before. So if you're saying, okay, I built a career telling people to crash out, we glorifying robbery, and he was. Let's not even play this game.
Let's not play. Yeah.
If that's what you built your career on, right? And you saying, well, these rules don't apply to me anymore because I'm no longer that person. Well, it would be helpful because you harmed a lot of people by having that message. It would be helpful to have a public. You got to publicly say that. You got to publicly say, I disavow everything that I once stood for. I no longer stand for any street code. That was a misguided message when I was younger. I no longer think that people should live by that. You don't get the right to just rap about glorifying street activity for 20 years and then hop, skip, and jump out of it when it's convenient for you 20 years later because you're a changed person, because it's bigger than yourself. You've impacted a lot of people, and you've put a message out there that a lot of people gravitated to, and a lot of people believed it. So I don't just buy he's a changed man now. He doesn't have to live by that anymore. No, you lived by that, or we thought you lived by that.
No, we're not going to do that because he lived by it.
That's the message that you put in your music, and you portrayed it, and you glorified it. So to just do something that's totally against that without public explanation of why you've done that, if you had a public explanation of why you've done that, then it would be acceptable. You have no public explanation why you did that. No, I don't. I think it's weird. I think it's definitely weird, unadvisable, and I don't respect it. I don't respect it at all. And to the critique of like, well, Pooh Shiesty mixed street business with corporate business because he made him sign a contract. If he would have just robbed him, then that would have been okay. But he robbed. What are we talking about here? There's no mixing. A robbery is a robbery. If you rob me of $1 million in jewelry, right? Or if you make me sign a contract, either way, I'm getting robbed.
It's still robbery both ways.
It's still robbery. So it's like, so I'm not going to snitch on you if you take my jewelry, but I am going to snitch on you if you make me sign a contract. That makes no sense. Either just be consistent. Just I'm gonna tell the cops. Because I don't even look at it as snitching. I feel like it.
What?
I'm saying it's just a regular civilian. If you're a regular civilian and somebody robs you, right?
Oh, okay.
Like, he filed the police report. But what I'm saying is that he never portrayed himself as a regular civilian. That's the part that's my only thing in this. That's my only thing in this. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say, okay, I want to live by regular civilian rules and regular civilian laws, but you've never glorified or talked about yourself as a regular civilian ever. So if you talked about yourself as an outlaw and you lived the life as an outlaw, well, abide by outlaw laws.
And I would say, yeah.
Or my last point on this, or just be a regular civilian and live by regular civilian laws.
Two thoughts. A lot of y'all making content around the scenario don't think that Roderick still isn't who he is, though. Because a lot of the snitches still out here bagging shit and running right back to protection while they bagging shit.
That's the most dangerous person.
Be very careful because everybody want the content and clip shit up until they put the clip in. Be mindful. He still ain't nothing to play with. My second thought is, are we being selective on this outrage? There's some other people who don't get the same outrage. Don't ask me who. So, and the other part is, I said it last week. If you're going to play street tactics and I'm not going to let you out of your contract, you have to be careful of the energy that you put out there, because when you disrespect somebody, you don't know what the response is going to be. You can argue he damn near backed Shiesty into doing that. There was no conversation or way to be able to get out of that contract. Now, is it right? No. And for those of you who keep saying, oh, this is only happening, Sam Altman house just got firebombed and shot at last week. This isn't just a rap issue. I know it gets detailed that way. Even in corporate, the mixing street, and I would argue that most of these labels are engaging in racketeering and financing some of this, but they never make it to court for that. If I was to give somebody in the streets a $6 million advance to then go recruit people of the same life and I make money off of the music, I probably would end up in jail. That doesn't happen in Universal. Shout out to everybody at the UMG building. So we got to be mindful.
That brings up another point too. What responsibility does he have as far as his karma? Because Gucci, man, I think he's like 50 years old, probably close to 50, right? Gucci's not 50?
Maybe. Let me look.
He gotta be close.
44. Let me see.
No.
Let me see.
I mean, that's not a shot. I'm not disrespecting him. He got to be.
Oh, he's 46. He's 46.
He's 46 years old. He's 46. It's not that far away from 50. You don't see Nas having these problems because Nas is not hanging with a bunch of YNs, and he's not putting platforms to people that's Jay-Z's not. I mean, look, you put a platform and you give a green light to somebody who says, get it back in blood. That's the message that you stamped. So you, as an older statesman and somebody that has a level of influence and a level of power, is sometimes in life you gotta guard the energy that's around you. You don't see these guys having problems like this. Dr. Dre, Nas, Jay-Z, they're not having these type of problems because they're not around that type of energy. They were around that type of energy.
They were.
And they had problems like that when they were not they didn't get robbed, but I'm just saying they had people make diss records about them, and they had but you get a point in your life where I don't want to deal with that. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I think that's a valuable lesson as well. Mm-hmm. I get that. Okay, I want to give the brother a chance. I want to help a brother out. There's a lot of brothers that can get chances and get helped out. That's not talking about get it back in blood. And he really meant it. Get it back in blood. Like, that's really what
and so meant. Did Gucci when he was saying that. Gucci was the one who was saying that initially.
Boy, he didn't get it back in blood. He got it back in paperwork. So he didn't mean it, apparently.
And also too, for some of the elder statesmen, if we're gonna be honest, they elevated that circle that they have around them, but they're still Sicarios around. They just elevated.
And that's a mistake.
Yeah.
You don't need to have, that's a mistake. Even like, you don't need to, 50 Cent changed a lot of, like, you don't, it's going
to elevated security detail.
You don't need to have that type of element around you because it's going to be detrimental to you. Mm. And everybody that elevated realized that. At some point in time, Suge Knight did not realize that. And you see where he's at.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Dr. Dre realized that. Okay, I don't need to be around Nas, Jay-Z, Busta Rhymes, mm-hmm. Snoop Dogg. They all, at a certain point in life, realize it's not beneficial for me to be, and rest in peace. It's ironic that I'm wearing this t-shirt. Nip, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that was probably the fatal flaw of not escaping that element sooner. Mm. Everybody doesn't have good intentions for you.
For sure. Most don't. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. But let's talk about Ashley, if we can. Yeah. Ashley
Janae, rest in peace.
Ashley Janae, rest in peace. Mm-hmm. This is a very strange situation. Apparently, everybody's already know the story, but if you haven't heard the story, interracial couple, she's with an older white man. She's a black woman influencer, very vocal about her relationship. She went to Tanzania with her fiance. Well, he proposed to her in Tanzania for her birthday. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden they said that she hanged herself. Now reports is coming out that they actually had a big blowout argument fight. They actually had to be separated in separate rooms. The whole idea of hanging yourself on your birthday in Tanzania, the day after you got engaged to.
Impossible. But let's just call it impossible. Nobody black is hanging themselves on the day after their birthday in Africa.
In Africa.
Stop.
And the day after they got engaged.
No, stop. Mm-mm. So, to the police in Zanzibar, if this reaches your airwaves, I hope you guys do the right thing. It's conflicting reports on if he's detained or not, but be careful. And I keep saying, in those domestic situations, it's tough, man. And you have to assume allegedly that he's guilty because he hasn't reached out to the family. If something happened to your significant other,
they said that they did. The parents said that he did call, but it was 11 hours after she died, and he was very vague in the conversation.
That's suspicious.
No, 100%.
That's absolutely suspicious. So, rest in peace to her and to all that are going through domestic violence issues. I hope you find ways to escape, because a lot of that is going on. It's not talked about a lot either, but a lot of people are going through that.
Yeah, it is. It's an unfortunate situation, and I hope that he doesn't make it out. Because if he makes it out, then
it's over with.
If he gets out of Tanzania, they're not going to prosecute it in America. They're not going to go to East Africa to try to get evidence on what happened. Like, he's going to walk free. So
this is a case where it's justifiable to get it back in blood, though.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any other learning lessons from this?
None that are poignant enough to discuss today. What about you?
I want to be sensitive.
Rashad. Go ahead.
No. I definitely want to be sensitive. So I'll refrain. From any comments.
Thank you.
But watch signs early of love bombing. We don't just say these things on Blackout is actually a very useful and helpful
informative show. Yep.
We don't just say these things for no reason. Like, watch out for signs that somebody's over control of early. Watch out for signs that they're love bombing too much. It don't make sense. Watch out for signs that somebody is, going too far. Like, a lot of times we mistake these things as like one-off events or a sign of love or, they jealous. So
slow build.
I need somebody to be jealous because that means that you love me. There's a lot of crazy people, but there's a lot of crazy men out here. So, ladies, be safe.
Be careful. Okay, if you were to propose to someone, wouldn't you have some of your family or friends there, or her family and friends?
Well, I get the proposal out of the country thing because that does happen a lot, right?
Yeah.
And so I get it, I understand it, but there's no way in hell, somebody's going to kill himself. And if you're going to kill yourself, you're not going to Africa to kill yourself.
No, you did at home.
You're definitely not going to do it on your birthday after you got engaged, after you just posted on Instagram. Oh my God, my life is complete now. So, but also watch where y'all core relationship goes. That's my last
Thank
thing.
you.
Like,
that's a great point.
That's another lesson too, because there's a lot of women in the comments like, "Oh man, may this love find me." Y'all saying y'all glorifying things that you have no idea about behind the scenes.
Material only. Yep.
And this happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you ruining your relationship because you're looking at it like, damn, I ain't going on vacation in 3 years, or I got to fly coach when I go and we can't even. So you actually potentially ruining your relationship, looking at what somebody else got online, not knowing that what they got online could be the worst shit in the world. Mm-hmm. Like, love yours. What J. Cole say? Love yours. Mm-hmm. Appreciate your life. Stop judging your success, your happiness off of somebody else. Because 9 times out of 10, what you're seeing online, this shit is not even real. Yeah. Whether it's money, relationships, whatever. Mm-hmm. Stop doing that. Stop gauging success.
Your life by somebody else's life.
Please.
Because most of those couples that y'all are admiring, they fucking hate each other. We know some of them. I ain't gonna blow y'all a brand deal, but a lot of them do not like you. They together for the money or the brand partnership, or they got 2 more years on this deal. That should be a misery at home. I don't want water roses. So, but be mindful who you're comparing yourself to. And y'all gonna receive in this recession too. A lot of the people who are posting the money and all that. I keep saying, all the smartest entrepreneurs on earth are working harder than ever. Even if you're great at entrepreneurship, it's not the easiest era. We just had a company that sold shoes announce that they're switching to an AI model. The stock took off. That stock is going to fall back down probably in 4 or 5 months. People are trying to find ways to stay alive. Everyone doesn't have it as easy as you think. I promise you. Usher and Brown are going on tour together.
That should tell you something.
That should tell you something. And it's long overdue for them to collab, but they picked the right time. 25 dates. I'ma go. Hove on tour. Ye on tour. J. Cole on tour and playing basketball in China. It should tell you something.
It should.
Yep.
All right, let's get into this. Let's talk about real estate. Let's get into this clip of man that found a lot of things wrong with his home as far as a new build, new construction. Let's show this clip, please.
I want y'all to look at this video with me.
This is why you gotta come when you get your house built.
You gotta inspect it.
You gotta come every single day to watch these folks build your home. It's a load-bearing wall. Look at the gap. Look how your nails in here.
Look at this one. right here. Look at this. It's not even stable.
Look at your gaps. This is why you gotta come.
It's not even stable.
Look at this nail. This is why you gotta come when these folks build your house. Look at the nails. You ain't gonna never see this because this is gonna be behind the wall. Look at your gaps.
And this is so crazy because I've said this before in the video. I said because I seen a guy that actually drove through properties and he was saying that they're putting these houses up within 3 to 4 days and charging $500,000-$600,000 for them. But how are they putting these homes up so fast? And then you got this guy that's actually looking at the structure of your house. You know what them gaps and stuff could do? First of all, water all over the place is eventually going to get into that home. Maybe not when it's first built, but eventually it will get in. Then on top of that, you got gaps and screws just hanging out the sides of the 2x4s and all that. You ever seen somebody's ceiling or the side of somebody's wall and it starts cracking up a little bit? Yeah, that's why that happens, because it actually wasn't structured properly. This is insane, man. It's like, what does he do at this point? Like, you done paid all that money to get your home built, your home, and you got to come through and see this. I'm glad he's seen it now, but it's like, what do you do at this point? Do you tell him to tear it down and redo it? It's crazy. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below. What would y'all have done? Please help me out, because I don't even know what I would have did. Like and follow for more.
Okay.
Wow.
So,
It's tough. And even the way the homes are constructed in America versus other countries, it's fascinating what the norms are.
No, that's 100% true. And even like what you said, as far as building because homes in America for the most part, they're built with wood and
pressed.
They're like, yo, you building multi-million-dollar homes for wood. You go to other countries, they building it with bricks.
Bricks, yeah.
They building it with. It's so much better. So yes. But also, this hits home for me because obviously everybody knows about my real estate struggles with building a home. And I think we might got to change the intro because I don't want to think, because a few people have asked me about that. Like, yo, that's my worst mistake of my life. You know what I mean? So it's context is important.
Important, yeah.
But I will say this. You got to double check
everything.
Contractors. You got to double check these contractors 100%. And you got to be hands on. Me, I go to my house every single day. And not to say that I'm a real estate expert, but I'm looking at everything. And these dudes will cut corners. Not to say that the people that I'm with, but I'm just saying just in general. And I hate to generalize.
Yeah, but there is a broad understanding. If you don't have a good GC, they're going to get over on you. Even other great contractors will tell you to watch out for the other contractors.
Yeah. And it's little stuff like making sure you got foam in your walls, making sure the wood on your floor is of thickness so you don't hear noise when you like little stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
you don't think about, right? And it's like, put the layer underneath the wood so you don't hear noise.
Your kids running around
exactly
upstairs. Yep.
Like little stuff like that. Like, make sure you use the right type of paint. Make sure the finishings are very, very, very important. And a lot of times people, just cut corners. You don't know what's being done. And by the time you realize that, damn, this actually was not done correctly, or it could have been done better, what are you going to do? Replace your whole wall?
Change order time. That's the other scam. To let you see the work being completed and it looks great, then you find out it's not up to par and they change order you to death. Now to get another 25 to 30% on the fixes that they were supposed to do right the first time. Got to be careful. Got to be every time I go on your stories, I'm like, plywood. I'm like, I know. You got to check. You got to check on your investments. People are going to find a way to get over on you, and it sucks. And that's why good GCs are worth their weight in gold. You have to make sure that you're working with somebody that knows what they're doing and that they're not going to get over on you.
And get a second pair of eyes. It never hurts. Like, if you have like an outside engineer or a consultant, you don't necessarily have to have a GC, because what you could also do is pick apart anybody's work. I learned that when I was a financial advisor. You could pick apart anybody's work. Like if somebody had a life insurance policy, I could find something wrong with it if I needed to.
Yeah.
and that's kind of like a form of like dirty macking as well, where that happens a lot in sales, where they be like, oh, I hate to be that guy, but man, you got like that's it. So you don't want to do that, because then you could just pick apart anything. But it does not hurt to have a second set of eyes come, like I say, maybe somebody that's outside of it, an engineer, just come, expect things, see, okay, this is of standard, this is of code. Okay, I would just recommend maybe ask about this. You don't want to be disrespectful to the person either if they haven't garnered to be like. You don't just tell a general contractor like what to do. They are doing it for a living. Yeah, I think you extend some level of courtesy until they prove that the courtesy is not needed to be extended. But you just want to be on top of it. Like, it's never feel bad about. Don't feel like you being a burden or a nag, like you're nagging somebody. Yeah. It's your money.
It's your money, your capital. It's the place you're going to live in. For some, it's your biggest investment. You better check on that shit. You better check.
Yeah.
Is Gucci Mane career over after that song?
Yeah, it's over. It was over before that. But, I mean, I guess he could still tour legacy acts. But as far as new music, I don't think anybody's really checking for Gucci Mane's music. But yeah, it's over. It's over. But I will say this about the real estate thing too, before we leave, is that like, if you are going to fire somebody, make a decision quick, because the longer they take, the more fucked up work that they do, the harder it is to repair.
Yep.
So that's going to cost you more money as well. Like, at least for me, if there's any good thing about my situation is that the first guy I was with was a con artist. I fired him early. Where only thing that he did was the foundation. He didn't even do that right, but at least he didn't get an opportunity.
Yeah, he didn't frame the house and
to fuck up.
Yeah,
the whole entire project. Because the more work that he would have done, the more fuck ups he would have caused.
Yeah.
So that would be my last advice on this. Don't wait. Don't think, okay, somebody did something that's suspicious, shaky, I'm going to give them more time, or we're going to work it out, or I already paid them, so I don't want to lose money. Cut your losses.
Fire on the first red flag, especially if you're putting that much money into it. First red flag, let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. Can we talk about MAGA turning on MAGA? Put this clip, Alex Jones.
MAGA on MAGA crime. MAGA on MAGA crime.
This is how you know it's a recession.
Ooh. Alex Jones.
If you think I've been coming after you, if you think that I'm trying to get clicks by attacking you so the Democrats that don't buy anything from me and don't like me want to put me in jail, if you think I've been on your ass, say one more thing. One more thing out of your mouth. And Laura Loomer, send him this, okay? One more thing. When I've gone through hell back in your ass because you were the lesser of two evils, then I'm going to show you how the cow ate the cabbage. Do one more thing. You should be kissing my ass. But instead, you shit all over me and rub it in. Okay. I'm a Christian, but I ain't Christ-like, okay? And I hate the Democrats, I hate the left, I hate the WF, I hate the globalists so much that I've sat here and put up with crap, you not defending me, you letting Todd Blanche kill the investigations of what the DOJ and CIA did to me and my family, and I just said, high road, don't even really talk about it, I'll take it for the greater good. But there's only so far that I can take it. Go ahead, say one more thing about me. Go ahead and attack me one more time. And you'll find out. Because I know where to hit you. Leave me alone. I don't want to be at your Mar-a-Lago, your tuxedos, bunch of parrots posing. I'm not looking for government contracts. I've never asked for anything. Ed Martin contacted me and said incredible evidence of the government attacking you. They had all the proof. The DOJ funding the lawsuits, rigging it all, and he's a great guy. And then Todd Blanche kills it and then calls me a kook and says I don't deserve to have my rights defended. And I'm in civil rights lawsuits. You know, that's fine. I didn't blame Trump. I just said, okay, I'll take it. But I will not take any more of your crap. I have taken your betrayals, your narcissism, the open kleptocratic insider trading that is just wholesale in your administration. I've mentioned it, but said, yeah, it's just par for the course now. But I'm not looking for a fight, but if you want one, you came to the right place. Does Alex Jones bluff? No, I don't. You think I'm intimidated by you, Trump, the president of the United States? Think I'm intimidated by your hit teams, all the rest of it? Whatever, man. You got God to deal with. I want to focus on the midterms, the Democrats. I want to promote what's good you're doing. And I want to be left alone. But if you let Laura Loomer and that Israeli operative sit there and chew on me like I'm some chew toy, I'm done.
Okay. So yeah, clip from Alex Jones. And if you haven't been familiar, there's a rift within MAGA. And there's the American First movement with like Nick Fuentes. How do you say his name?
Fuentes. Yep.
Nick Fuentes.
Hall of Fame racist.
Candace Owens. Alex Jones.
Tucker Carlson.
Yep.
What was Ann Coulter? You got the racist all
Margie Taylor Greene.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's a whole all of them at one point in time was MAGA. It's a spinoff.
Mm-hmm.
So what they call in America First, I think that's what they call in their movement, America First.
Mm-hmm.
And they are anti-MAGA. They saying that Trump is a fraud. They are anti these wars that we're in. They're pushing a hard line. And Trump, I guess he had enough. So he went on Truth Social and just started blacking. He blacked on everybody. He blacked on Tucker Carlson, called him a loser, said that that's why he got fired from Fox, and he just went on his whole thing. And then he went on Alex Jones, and that's why Alex Jones like, yo, be careful.
Called him Bankrupt Jones. But be careful, because Alex know some of them secrets. And my thing is, I kept saying, this war will not end well for us. It's not all about military might. A lot of it is about strategy, but it shows you how fragile the economy is if you're day one supporters. They are even saying allegedly Charlie, before he passed, was making a turn. Mm-hmm. And these are the people who you can argue got him elected. Theo Vaughn has changed course. Rogan has changed course and now regretting supporting that movement because of how the leadership is going awry. So it's definitely a recession indicator when you have I've never remember infighting like this amongst either Republican or Democrat that is this loud. But be mindful, things are not going well. For all of you kept saying, oh, Project 2025 wasn't real and everything's going to be fine. You guys don't know. You guys are leaning left and all that dumb shit. You're just flat out wrong. Now your base, your heroes are now telling you, man, get this motherfucker out of office. Told you. Listen the first time.
Yeah. So the question is, who will we see like, because JD Vance is the continuation of MAGA. So there's a few options here. There's JD Vance just continues as MAGA and he becomes, the candidate for the Republican Party, and he's just the continuation of MAGA, and they just have a split Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
Or JD Vance turns, and after, as we get closer to the election, he breaks away from Trump publicly, separates himself from Trump, goes anti-war, goes harder against Netanyahu, different things that they want. And now he's seen as like the I don't know if that's going to work or there's a new political leader from the Republican Party that emerges that is more in line with the American First than the MAGA. Well, I don't know who that would be.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's Tucker Carlson
running for president.
I wouldn't be surprised. They've asked him a few times and he's turned it down and played coy, but a lot of this is timing. I don't think a person from his background, media-wise and family-wise, I'll leave it there, has a platform that big who has not thought about that office. And now you finally, this is the classic wrestling turn where now you get everyone to hate the main character. And now you get to come in as a preeminent choice. And if you're pushing hard against that agenda and you really want the country to win, I would be interested to see how him and Peter Thiel relationship develops, because Peter's a kingmaker. So he may not be president, but I can see him potentially moving in as VP and running as president to get up that Q score a little bit and then bring some sensibility back into the party. But I told you guys last year, even in my building, I'm going around Texas, I was starting to get a lot of questions about how the economy would do from some diehard Republicans last year. When the market took off and everyone was like, oh, it's going to be the greatest market ever. I'm like, that shit is not sustainable. It's not sustainable. So it's a lot of infighting, but in infighting, there's somebody who's strategizing to overthrow the king. I mean, Trump's making it easy.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Put in chat. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about China. Let's show this clip of the luxury car in China. Let's show this clip, Joey.
All right, so I am here in Foshan, China, and I am about to do a car tour on my favorite Chinese car. Come with me. They want like 700,000 RMB, which is like 102 US dollars. So come with me. Come review this beauty. Let's go.
All right, y'all, this car is giving luxury. Even like, look at the stars, like in the lights. Like this car, oh, look at the trunk. It had like a lot of space. Well, not tons of space, but I could fit like 2 suitcases so I can be up out of here real quick. So you can like call the door to close. They had water chilling in like the little ice thing back here between the 2 seats. It was really giving like a drive-by-drive vibes, right? So they kind of had like these 2 iPad things that you can use to control the car. You can use to control this big TV screen right here. It also control like the sound in the car. So we went to go test drive it. Of course, we had to call the car out of the parking space. Like we were not in the car. So this one is like the test model. I love the inside of this. It was like white on the outside with like cream white in the inside. I quickly put that seat down, all right, because I needed to get the whole vibe and put my feet up. Look, y'all, she is not driving this car. This is her letting me know it's very much tea. This is the price in USD for the one that we were driving, which is kind of like the basic model. It didn't have the TV. So it's about 107,000 USD.
All right. So that was actually Blair. Blair is
Shout out to Blair.
Shout out to Blair. She's my connect in China. She's the one that actually has been working with me and has sourced all the products, all the stuff that I got for my house. Was with Blair. She's from Detroit originally, moved to China. And she's doing her thing. She sources all types of stuff from China. So when I said one of the things that I realized when I went to China is that we talk about was it BYD and a few other like Chinese electric cars. They have 20, at least
25, probably, right?
Yeah, native Chinese electric vehicle brands in China that we've never heard of before, ever. That's only in China. That's huge, straight luxury. And I was just saying that, I realized the cost of things is not like, okay, you could just get a couch for a cheaper price. You can get everything cheaper in China. Yeah. It's like $100,000 for that car. That's a Cullinan.
Yes. Yep.
That's a Cullinan.
Shout out to Punch just bought an Escalade. The Escalade probably 185.
Yeah, but I said like $100,000 car is a Volvo. Like, like
sure. Yep.
$100,000 car in America is Tahoe. A Tahoe,
which is insane to me.
A Tahoe is definitely $100,000 if you get it like with the bells and whistles. Now compare that, like I said, that actually might be even more. It has more bells and whistles than the Cullinan. Like they putting the first seat up, they doing the whole thing. Like telling you,
innovation is higher.
That car in America with any luxury logo on it, whether it's Mercedes, whether it's Rolls Royce, whether it's any type of Bentley, any luxury logo on that car, and it's $450,000 in America,
which is absolutely insane. The car prices, and that's just, we talked about inflation on Monday, but the endless inflation cycle from 2019 through now. Like in 2017, $100,000 car was a luxury car. Now these car companies have figured out a way to move up the baseline price, which is astronomical, and they're not that much better. Not that much better. That sucks, man. And Apple had a chance to make that car and scrap that project after 5 or 6 years. It's crazy. China's beating us in a lot of ways. And I know people like to push back on the China point. Just go look at the brands. Even from a tech standpoint, their laptops are superior. Like, I know Apple dropped the Neo to make an affordable option, but even the affordable brands in China are comparable to MacBook Pros. It's crazy. That's a nice car though.
I'm telling you, I saw it. Like I said, I saw with my own eyes. Not just that car. I saw these cars. Like everybody should go to China. You should go to China, like because you'll see how far in advance they are, and you'll see the dysfunction and how we're living in America.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to see crime. I was out there for like 10 days. I didn't hear or see one police car, siren, police officer. I didn't see it the whole entire time I was there. And I was eating dinner with some Chinese people, and they was like, when you came to China, what did you think it was going to be? And I was just telling them as far as like how Americans think about China. And they was like, they think it's repressive regime and da-da-da. He was like, did you see any police? I'm like, I didn't see any police. I ain't hear a cop car. Did you see any crime? Did you witness any crime? Did you see anybody look like they were scared? Did you see, like, I had to travel like 30 minutes to actually see somebody ask for money. I seen like a few people asking for money, but for the most part, I ain't see any homeless people. I ain't see people like sleeping on the street. This society is advanced. And they have the flying car. They got the flying car prototype already done. So the prices that we're paying for everything in America is insane. Their rent is like $300 a month. Their rent is crazy. Like I said, it's more than just luxury bags and, buying stuff for your house. Everything. That's when you realize that capitalism has run amok, because everything there is severely discounted
in comparison
with and it's not bad product.
It's not inferior. Yeah.
You've seen the car. That car right there is better than any car that's in the market now in America.
And speaking of more inflation, the report came out yesterday that the average cost to raise a kid from 0 to 18 is now $303,000. That's with no extras. A couple years ago, when I said $100,000 is no money, I got killed. I was in Shade Room and fucking shot Shade Room and Hollywood Unlocked. How could he say this? And this is without private school, tuition, extras, vacations, the baseline, even the cost of childcare. How much that is. Most people are paying equivalent in childcare to what they are mortgage in the United States of America. Endless inflation.
And it's up 23% from a couple of years ago. And that number of over $300,000 to raise a child doesn't even include the intangible things that it costs to raise a child. Meaning, like, okay, if you have a few children, or if you have a bigger family, then you'll probably want to actually live in a neighborhood with a good school district. But the property taxes that you're paying for that school district. I spoke to somebody the other day that is paying $100,000 a year in property taxes. That's including the school district and the property tax together. Now, obviously, it's a nice neighborhood. It's $1 million homes, but $100,000
it's a year, lot,
right? So when you're talking about the cost of raising a child, you have tangible items. Like, okay, how much is it going to cost for daycare, which has been comparable to private school at a certain point.
Yep.
A mid-level private school. Because I know in New York, you could definitely be paying $1,500 a month for daycare. That's why the mayor's trying to make daycare universal and free. But you live in areas where there's not universal free daycare. And you're not getting government subsidies, because it's always the middle class that gets squeezed.
For sure.
If you're not getting the government subsidies to make this cheaper for you, you can definitely be paying $1,200 to $1,500 a month in daycare alone. Then you have food. Then you have of course, other outside educational expenses that take place. You have recreation. You have sports. Sports alone have become a business with
inflation,
spending tens of thousands of dollars a year. AAU teams are costing $2,000-$3,000
a year
for a 6-week session. There's like 4 different AAU sessions.
The trainer inflation too.
Exactly. You paying $10,000 a year just for your kid to play sports.
Then you gotta pay to get into the games.
And if it's like, okay, if they don't play sports, you're going to pay for something extracurricular. You want them to act, you got to pay for acting schools and ballet. You got to pay for that. And if you want them to do martial arts, you got to pay for that. You can't just have a child doing nothing all day. That's not helpful. You got to pay for clothes. You got video games. You got transportation. You have vacation. Food costs are increasing. Nothing that we said so far is putting money aside for their college education or putting money aside.
Or money to the market.
We haven't even got to that point yet. And that's if you're actually living with the child, let alone if you actually are a parent that's not living with your child. Now you got to pay for a variety of different expenses while still trying to maintain your life as well. So it becomes a financial tornado. It can definitely become a financial tornado if you're not ready for it. So this conversation of child, and that's one of the reasons why I think people are having less children.
Absolutely.
Is because they can't financially afford to have a child. And this economy is very difficult.
And then if you get a babysitter on top of that and you try and give your kid an edge in anything, everything costs. Like you said, AU fees are insane. Training is insane. And it's for all sports. Basketball, football, soccer, tennis. All of those fees are insane. Endless inflation. Like a lot of when you add up all these costs from 2018, we're really looking at 125% increase. It's insane. And just to be a good parent. Insane.
300,000 is on the low
end.
That's a low end number.
And for those of you who push back on his parenting topics, just log out. Some of y'all be screaming y'all a deadbeat without knowing you screaming it. I'm telling you what I've experienced and done and have invested in, and Rashad is saying what he's done and invested in. Yo, you don't take that much. Bruh, you clearly don't pay the daycare bill.
Fact.
What? Ain't no discount. What? I be going there thinking, look, damn, y'all got 58 kids in here? I know what this building costs. And one day we're going to have a conversation. I know y'all hate when I do this. One day we're going to have a conversation about how private equity put the final nail in the coffin for affordability in America. AAU's taking over the fucking AAU. PE's taking over the AAU circuit. It's crazy how they saw that model because parents have so much love and joy for their kid. It's more of an emotional purchase than it is a logical one, and the fees have increased. Daycares as well. A part of the affordability going away is not the private equity companies that I know and love you guys dearly, but the other ones that have driven the prices up so much for everything, and they're ruining the economy at scale.
And then even the tax benefit, yes, you do get a tax benefit for having, a child, multiple children, but compared to the amount of money that you're spending, you get 5,000 and you got to spend 20
easily.
You're still negative 15
easily. Easily. So what can you do? Take care of your kids. But all that, have a baby with me. You better add that shit up. Before you say that. Them little 20 minutes gonna cost you 1.5 if you got a couple kids. You better chill out.
Wake up.
Yeah, and then undergrad, that's the 18. Then they get to NYU. You got a smart kid. Now you paying 105 room board tuition for them to then leave and not be able to get a job. Like, I feel for this graduating class as we enter this recession or whatever they're going to call it. They don't even have job placement available. Imagine you spent $200,000-$300,000 in education and now you can't land anywhere.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. Well, something to think about. But I think our guest is here. So without further ado, can we bring our guest up? Shall we? What's going on, my brother? How you doing?
Peace, brothers. How y'all feeling? How y'all doing?
Good. Honored to have you here.
Appreciate y'all.
Good, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Been on this interview run out here, running around.
I see
these a bunch of interviews. Promote my new book that we got out now called Healing the Illusion We Call Disease, Bible of Health. See why we call it a Bible.
Yeah. Nah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for coming on. Dr. Yahki, I know you guys spoke at InvestFest a few years ago.
Yeah,
with 19 Keys. So, but I always hate to ask a person like, "What's your backstory?" Because I hate when people do it to us. But I do feel like it would be beneficial for our audience because they may not be as familiar with you. And I think it's interesting before we even start the conversation. So, can you just give them like the path of like how you got to this level of where you're at as far as the health journey?
Yeah. So at the age of 21, I attacked my heart. I basically was drinking, smoking, doing recreational drugs, eating things I wasn't supposed to be eating, wouldn't get no sleep, running the streets, and all of that accumulations of toxicities led to deficiencies were caught up to me. End up doing some drugs, and I had a heart attack. I hate saying the word heart attack because it takes the liability off of me. I'm the one who did these things to my body, put these toxins into my body. So my heart attacked itself. From there, I was led to the hospital. I was on high blood pressure medication because I had hypertension. I had diabetes mellitus. I was overweight. I had fingernail fungus, toenail fungus. My kidneys weren't functioning properly. I was just living a very, very poor lifestyle and was very unhealthy. So after the heart attack, I ended up in the hospital, and that was a scare straight moment for me. So from there, when I got home, I basically threw away all my medicines. I had erectile dysfunction at the age of 21 from the side effect of the hypertension medication that I was taking. That was the actual side effect of it. So I got on YouTube trying to figure out natural ways to heal that. I'm 21 and, my hands ain't working. I'm like, let me try to figure that out. From there, a man popped up. From that man popping up, a suggestion came up and Dr. Sebi popped up. And when I listened to Dr. Sebi, the first thing I heard was a strong black man with bald head and a gray beard talking about he healed sickle cell anemia, leukemia, and all types. At that particular time, the education that I had, I was indoctrinated by the allopathic community. I didn't think these so-called diseases were so-called curable. So I'm like, he lying. But as I started listening to him, something in my spirit said, sit there. And he just grabbed my attention. So for 48 hours, I sat up there and I watched all of his content. That ended up leading me to get involved in curriculum. I started studying botanical medicine. I ended up going to Stanford University, became a nutritional scientist, got into biochemistry with the University of Adelaide. And then I started, getting all of these certifications and learning how to work my way around herbal medicine and diet and plants. So I went on a 120-day juice fast, 120 days. I set out to do 90 days, but I ran across a man named John Rose, which is a Caucasian man. And he talked about taking a solid food vacation. And I never heard of that because, again, my indoctrination, I thought if you stop eating for a long period of time, you would die. So I'm hearing it. And then I'm seeing his physique. At this time, he's 67. His body, six-pack, abs, pec, triceps, biceps. I'm like, how was it? And he's sitting out in the sun with shorts on talking about eating natural and not cooking your food. So I said, well, let me try this. So I went on a juice fast, man. After my juice fast and I mixed up my own herbal compounds, it was 120 days later. I went back to the doctor. I had no more scar tissue on my heart. I didn't have fatty liver no more. My kidneys was functioning properly. Everything was normalized. And I was feeling I felt the best I ever felt in my life. So I took that information, I applied it to my community. I went to my family, and then from there, it just grew. And I ended up getting in contact with a very famous person in the celebrity community. He got rid of some things that they said you couldn't heal. So he funded my first project and funded my first seminar. And that's when I blew up. I actually blew up in the celebrity community first because that's how I really started out. And then they started getting word out, and then the streets started accepting me. And me coming from the streets, it just only made sense. And from there, man, I just been building and helping my community ever since.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. For everyone here tonight who thinks doing a juice fast for that long is impossible or is harmful for you, What do you say to them? And then when you did your fast, what juices were you consuming and how did you overcome the initial hunger pains?
I created a juice called the geogenetic juice. It's known as that now. Over 4.2 million people are on it right now as we speak. It consists of a bunch of celery. And the reason why I use celery, because celery have a bunch of sodium clusters in it that does amazing things to the body, rehydrates the body, remineralizes the body, open up detoxification pathways to help you really detoxify all those toxins and endotoxins from out of the cells. It's mixed with apples. The apples are amazing because it come with malic acid. The malic acid breaks down what you'll call bilirubin, which actually is nothing but cholesterol crystallized inside the body. So flushing out the liver. We use the lemon or we use the key lime. That's to alkaline the blood, to alkaline the tissues in the body. We use ginger. Ginger is used for the digestive aid. It's very, very good for the digestional tract, the duodenum. And we use things like that. And cilantro, which is a heavy metal chelator. We mix all these things together. And man, you drink them as long as you can. We do 8 ounces in the rising. We do 8 ounces in the afternoon, and then another 8 ounces in the evening. And you're just going to start seeing those detoxification pathways open up and all of that metabolic waste leave. We see some people like me. A lot of people think I'd be lying when I said I lost 60 pounds in a week and a half. I wasn't lying. You get rid of so many toxins and metabolic waste, and you start realizing that you are overweight because you're full of waste. You're not overweight because you're full of weight. We're not losing weight. We're losing waste. And it did me so good, man. So juicing is amazing. Now, I will put a disclaimer out there. From my last 10 years of studying, having my own clinic, doing my own education and having hands-on clinical trials with my own clients and my own people in my own facility and laboratory. If you do suffer from fatty liver disease, now I wouldn't take a juicing approach.
Okay.
The good thing about my juice, though, is it don't raise blood sugar. It don't spike blood sugar. If it spike it, you would teeter out, and it'll become normalized in probably like an hour or two. But I still would say don't juice if you have fatty liver disease, because all of that juice goes straight through the liver route. Fructose take a very different pathway than glucose. Glucose, you need the pancreas to actually introduce insulin into the body to open up the cells, to feed the cells the energy. But when you do fructose from fruit, it actually go a liver route. It goes straight to the liver. And fructose and the liver, they don't really get along that well when the liver is already compromised. So I would tell a person like that, other than doing a juice fast or going on a juice diet or going strictly fruitarian like I used to teach, I would tell them to take a plant-based ketogenic diet.
So, okay, let's get into this. Let's really get into it. I want to break this down to easy to understand terms as possible, right? Me, let's take me personally, right? Like, I don't eat meat. I'm a pescatarian. I try to stay away from dairy. So I think that I have a pretty healthy diet, but I'm recently getting more and more paranoid as far as like, processed foods, and I'm just very like paranoid of stuff that I'm eating.
Right.
What's a good daily diet for me? How many times do I need to eat a day? How many times do I need to fast per week? Like if like me talking to me, but then the audience as well, right? Somebody that's not like an expert on this stuff, like, and still has a lot going on in life. A template, like what's the
blueprint? Yeah.
What's a template? Yeah.
The template would be the 18-6 rule fast, meaning you don't pick specific days to fast. You fast every single day like I do. I only eat one time a day. And when I mean one time, I don't literally eat. I don't mean I eat one meal a day. I eat in a specific time of day set up by the circadian rhythm that God set our bodies in. Each cell in your body have a biological clock. And this clock is set by sunrise and sunset. So if you can figure out the biological clock, which I did all the work, it's all in my book, I got a schedule. So the sun usually rises around 6. So you'll wake up and rise with the sun. When you wake up and rise with the sun, your cortisol is high. This is a stress hormone that's produced by the adrenal glands to wake you up to get ready for alertness. After you do that, you're supposed to take a glass of water, 8 ounces of spring water, add a pinch of sea salt into it to help you remineralize, help you hydrate, and add a half piece of lemon or lime. After you do that, you're supposed to actually stretch your body, get your fascia more elastic, and then you sit in the sun and you meditate. Once you get done with that, you go to the gym. Typically, according to the circadian rhythm, your workout is more efficient in the morning before 9:30 a.m. So by 9:30 a.m., you already supposed to be going through and letting that lactic acid burn and build up those muscles, right? Then as soon as you're done with that, you still on a fast. You're not going to break your fast until about 12. After your workout, your digestive system should be moving. You should have one of the biggest releases ever. That's why, because when you sleep at night, your body is detoxifying. You're going through something called autophagy. Auto means self, phagy means eating. So autophagy means when your cells recycle, aggregate themselves down and eat itself. All of those toxins literally go into the digestive tract. So when you wake up in the rising and you have that drink that I was talking about, the 8 ounces of spring water with a pinch of sea salt, with that lemon or lime, whatever you add to it, and then you start movement, because movement is medicine, then you're ready to use the restroom. So once you get done working out, you should have the biggest bowel release ever. They get rid of all of those toxins that you went through when your body was detoxifying when you sleep, because that's the true purpose of sleep, is to restore. And you look at the first word for 4 letters is rest. R-E-S-T, restoration. So rest is for restoring the body, getting the body back into homeostasis, getting it back balanced. So after you do that and you have your bowel movement, now you done moved everything out of your digestive tract. Your stomach is empty. Your large and your small intestines is empty. Now you're ready to fill it. This should be coming up to high noon day. This is when the sun is at its highest in the sky. We rise with the sun and we eat with the sun. The sun is at its highest. You're getting all of these rays. It should, at 12 o'clock, you between 650 nanometers to 850 nanometers of sun rays, ultraviolet A and B light. This is when your digestive fire and all of those enzymes are ready to get that food and break it down. I'm going to say you do a plant-based diet. I'm not really into meat. I haven't ate meat in over 15 years. I'm not knocking anybody that do, but when we start speaking about our people, we start speaking about our genetics and what we thrive off of, we thrive better off of a fruitarian and plant-based diet, eating fruits, berries, melons, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and grains. That's what, in specific grains, should I say, that's what we thrive off of. So at 12 noon, you break your fast. Me, I think you should break your fast. When you break your fast with your biggest meal. That way you have all day to digest the biggest meal first. And then everything else you eat after that, which is only about a 6-hour window. I say people that's just now getting into this, from 12 to 6 is your eating window. At 12, you eat your biggest meal, and then you do a little snacking here and there to 6 p.m. Then 6 p.m., the sun starts to go down. You go down with the sun. You do not eat anything else. You only drink spring water. In fact, if you're trying to heal yourself of any metabolic, what they call disease, we say don't do coconut water, don't do juicing or anything outside of that time. So from 12 to 6, you do your juices. From 12 to 6, you do your coconut water. From 12 to 6, you do all your meals. Anything outside of that 6-hour window is only herb, teas with no sweeteners, and your spring water. Then 6 o'clock come. When 6 o'clock go down, now you got 3 hours for your food to break down and digest. You in bed by 9:30 according to your circadian rhythm. Now your body can focus on autophagy and not breaking down your food, because the more people eat late and they're being stimulated by these artificial lights, has helped drive diabetes and everything else. So then they start accumulating all of this fat on their liver. So it's 12 to 6. 12 to 6 will be, I do 12 to 4. Sometimes I do 12 to 6, depending on if I'm traveling or not. And you will notice when you're in that intermediate fasting schedule, you lose weight, you build muscle quicker, your energy be skyrocket high. But the diet I would say is a plant-based diet. I really hate using the word vegan because I am not a vegan. I do love honey. And then just the stigma that's around vegan, I'm just not for that whole movement. But I don't eat meat, or I don't eat dairy. And again, when you start studying blue zones, as I've been talking about a lot lately, you start seeing people in blue zones. They are very, very healthy. They living past 100 years old. They still have all of their motility, their mobility. They still are working. They doing functional workouts. They have great love lives. They have a great community. They laugh together. They live in full holistic lives into their hundreds, and they still have meat on their diet. The thing about it is they're not eating 25 pounds of meat a month. They only eating 2 to 5 pounds of meat. You see that? So they're even going back to the ancient days when meat eating was introduced to us. We had to catch our meat. Half the time you're not catching no gazelle. You're not catching a wild boar every day. You probably caught your food once or twice a week. And then the cleaning processes that they went through, they had to kill it. Then they had to do a ceremony because they knew they took a life. Then they had to drain it of all its blood, hang it out, sterilize it, then build a fire and cook it. So after they killed their meat, it even took them 2 days before they ate the meat. Then after that, they ate their herbs and everything else unless they caught something. So even if we go back to the paleo times when they was eating meat, they were eating way, way, way less meat than what the black community is eating now. We're getting up to 100 pounds of meat a month in one family. Y'all, 100 pounds of meat is crazy. And then you see these meats and what they do to the molecular structure, they break down into uric acid. This uric acid burns the cells. It brings on metabolic waste. The grease that you're firing this meat in is usually seed oils. Seed oils is very hydronistic, meaning that it hydronizes, it becomes very rancid, and it oxidizes the cells. This then brings in calcium from the pituitary and from the parathyroid. It's a hormone called calcitonin because calcium is a mineral that helps buffer out acidity. You got all this uric acid built up because all the meat and all of the processed foods you've been eating. So calcium is then stripped from the bones to come neutralize and buffer out all that acids. Now the mucosa membrane is starting to actually be irritated. So you got mucus, you got acids, and then you got calcium all in one spot. That's called solidification or calcification. This is happening in the bloodstream. So what we call that's called a calcified artery. So now we start seeing hypertension, high blood pressure. We see high blood sugar. We start seeing all these different blockages in the arteries, and then all of your symptomologies come from that trying to unblock itself. And we have been programmed to believe that these symptomologies of our bodies trying to heal itself is called disease when it's actually not. So all your so-called stereotypical diseases are coming from us eating the wrong food that we genetically are not supposed to be eating in the first place. Now, have our people been eating meat for a long time? Yes, but it was real grass-fed meat, real organic meat. It was meat that was caught in the wild, and they didn't eat over 5 pounds of meat a month. We are eating meats that have additives, preservative, and modified. They're modified, genetically modified, GMO. They're killed very gruesomely. There is no ceremony, no ritualistic practices over it. When we spill in the blood, half of the meat still have all these bloods in them. We cooking it back into the meat. All of them got sexual growth hormones in them. They're all estrogen proliferators and estrogen prone. And then we eat these meats and we wonder why our bodies is acting the way it's acting. And it's not only meats. I don't want to even just blame the meat. It's the environment in what we in, especially in America. We got artificial blue lights. You got these microplastic clothing that we wearing. We got textiles and azo dyes that's causing all types of skin cancer. But I think hydrogenized oils, artificial sugar, processed foods, and artificial blue light is our number one drivers that's causing our metabolic health to decline.
What's a healthy food or snack that people think is healthy that's actually not? And my second question is, if you had to redesign the food pyramid, what would it consist of?
I would say this: any food that's not a one ingredient food is unhealthy.
One ingredient, because I always heard like three or four.
One. So this how I like to put it in an analogy. I say one ingredient, but you can take a one ingredient and you can take another one ingredient yourself and put them together. Right. And then you can make a multi-ingredient food from all whole grain, one ingredient food. I do it a lot. Whether I'm baking my sweet potatoes, I add a bunch of one ingredient foods to that. I might want to make me an apple pie. For my crust, I'm going to do almond flour, one ingredient. You know, it's an apple. I'm going to use organic apple grown from my own farm because I grow my own food. Them are my apples. You know, if I want to make some type of jam, I will literally cook those apples down until they get a jelly-like structure. So that's 2 ingredients, but I'm going to add some cinnamon, organic cinnamon. That's 3 ingredients. I might add a pinch of Celtic salt. That's 4 ingredients, but all of these organically grown. They're all made by God, and I'm the manufacturer.
You're not having it prepackaged.
I'm not prepackaging because I want to. Because if you look at what they're doing to processed foods make a processed you. We can just take the potato chip, for instance, right? They would take a full potato, Most of the time, it's a russet potato. It's genetically modified in the first place. Then they will take it to the factory, and they take it to the same exact processes that your digestive system go through. So, for instance, if I eat a potato, I'm gonna chew it. After I chew it, I'm gonna swallow it down. It goes down my esophagus. It then enters in something called the cardiac sphincter and goes into my stomach. Hydrochloric acid then breaks this potato down. Then the potato moves into a different processing where it goes to the duodenum. From the duodenum, all of these microvilli and these bacteria break the potato down through fermentation, and then all of the nutrients goes into my bloodstream. My bloodstream then takes all the nutrients to 100 trillion cells of my body. We utilize these nutrients, and then I create a waste byproduct, and then I go to the toilet and I poop it out. Now let's take this to a manufacturing company. They take the potato. The first thing they do is they cut it up. The same way I chewed that potato, they will cut it into thin slices. The next thing they do is they'll put it in an oven and bake it to 420 degrees Fahrenheit to dehydrate it. That's what my stomach did when it broke it down. The next thing, it goes on a conveyor belt. They extract all the nutrients out of it, because if it have nutrients in it, then it won't make you addictive. It won't give you that addictive personality. The whole point of making a potato chip is to leave out all of the nutrients for you can be hungry and you keep doing it again, right? So then they put it in the bag with all the nutrients out, and then they give it to you. So if you look at a processed food, we are literally eating a bowel movement. We're eating the end process of digestion. They took the chip, they broke it down, they baked it, all of the nutrients out. That's the waste byproduct. Then they put it in a bag of chips. They put some salt, some additives, and some preservatives on it. And then they present the poop to you, the bowel movement, like it's the real thing. No, the potato was the real thing with the nutrients. So when you look at processed foods, the reason why processed foods process you, because you're eating the waste byproduct of something that was once natural. So to me, my question, brothers, would be, what's the difference between eating a turd or eating a potato chip? Because it's still a waste byproduct. I
never heard it broken down that way, but that's brilliant.
So I would say, so the question was, King, you asked me, what is a good snack? A good snack is nature's fast food: an apple from a tree, an orange from a tree, pawpaw from a tree, a watermelon. These are your real fast foods. You pluck them, you wash them off, you eat them. That's nature's fast food. Nature's Skittles is a very good fast food. Berries, juniper berries, mulberries, strawberries, blackberries, blueberries. Them are nature's Skittles, very colorful, full of antioxidants. They are vasodilators, meaning they open up the blood vessels for your blood can flow, because we understand that the life of the flesh is in the blood. You know, so if we're talking about a good snack, it'd be whole foods, one ingredient foods that is grown from nature. If you can grow it yourself, if you can't grow it yourself, go to your local farmers market, get to know the people that's growing your food, because those hands are attached to a conscious identity. And the people that prepare your food can put different impressions on your food, because your food is full of water. And we know that fourth phase water is programmable. You can program water. So you got to make sure you have good energy around your food, study your food, get the facts on your food, then eat them. And if you can't do the farmer's market, go to the grocery store, go to the organic section. And when you get those foods, make sure that you unwax them, meaning you boil them and you dip them to get all of that wax and toxicity off and eat there. We understand that everybody don't have the privilege or is unfortunate enough to grow their food. We get that. People are busy and, you know, people are in different situations, but there is never a time where you just give up because the world is toxic.
I got so many questions.
For real. Go ahead.
I always heard that the grocery store, you're supposed to shop on the perimeter.
Oh, like, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Only on the perimeter. Never like the inside of the grocery store is the most. That's like all the process, all the stuff like on the perimeter.
That's where all the toxins are at. That's where all the toxins at. And then when you look at the barcodes, you always look for the stuff that start with 9, because that's usually organic. But now, you know, they're even infiltrating net where you can call it organic and put a 9 on it. And your definition of organic can be different. Like for instance, they have organic free range chickens, right? And a lot of people will go to the store and buy organic free range chicken. But then you go to all these manufacturing companies who manufacturing chickens and you see what free range is. It just means that they keep them in a barn. They just open the barn door and they give them a 4-foot parameter to go outside, still in the fence. That's free range. And then you really look inside, they eating their own poop, they drinking their own pee, and they're eating each other. Same thing with grass-fed beef. Did you know that you can eat organically grass-fed beef, but they literally are lining these cows up into these little prison cubicles, and it's a assembly line that go by and spit out grass pellets?
Yeah.
Grass pellets got all type of herbicides, insecticides, and pesticides on it, but you can technically say that they're grass-fed and grass-raised. So even when you get into that, what I would say is, yeah, I agree with you. The outside perimeter, if it got to go in the refrigerator, you ain't supposed to be eating it. If it need to be frozen and thawed out before you can get it, you ain't supposed to be eating it. If it come in a package, you ain't supposed to be eating it. And a lot of these companies now, since they trying to preserve them, so they will freeze the berries, these organic berries, then unfreeze them and then sell them to you. And then the moment it get on your kitchen cabinet, if you don't eat it the same night, you come back out the next night, you start seeing all mycelium networks come from them. Fungus, mold, they grow in mushrooms. And you're like, I just bought this 2 days ago. So now you even starting to see the organic food, become very, very, very damaged overnight because the freezing and unfreezing process they're doing to preserve it. So the best thing we should do is we come together as a community and grow and eat our own food.
Let me just follow up question real quick, Ian, on that fruit. I've been hearing that fruit is not necessarily good for you either because it spikes your sugar. And some fruits are better than others, like the darker the fruit, the better. But then they're saying that blueberries has a lot of, you got to make sure you wash it really good because it could be contaminated. So fruit, right?
Right.
If you eat too much fruit, is that bad for your sugar levels? What fruit should you stay away from? Like how much fruit? Like what's the deal with the fruit?
Okay, fruit. We are naturally frugivores, just biologically speaking. We come from a frugivore diet. I mean, if you look at anything in nature that even resemble us, they mostly eat a frugivore diet. I would say this: a fruit spikes certain people's blood sugar. Like for instance, if you are susceptible to diabetes 1, 2, or 3, which is Alzheimer's disease, I would tell you, do not juice your grapes, because if you juice your grapes and you take away all the fiber, it does spike your blood sugar. So if you juicing, I would say fruits. If you got fatty liver disease, it'll be an issue. But if you got diabetes without fatty liver disease, fruits will heal you from your diabetes because it's not taking the pancreas route. You allow your pancreas to rest, them islands of Langerhans inside the pancreas to rest, and it takes the liver route. And that's the reason why we check your liver, your ALT and your AST enzymes and your AFP enzymes. And we do a urinalysis on you before I put you on a fruit juice diet if you do got fatty liver. And we checking your total cholesterol, your HDL, LDL, and your triglycerides. That'll let me know if the liver fatty or not. And I say, well, you should do fruits or not. But fruits have a natural occurring sugar in it called monosaccharides and polysaccharides. These are simple sugars. We all need these sugars. You would die without sugar. Matter of fact, the cell loves sugar and it chooses glucose over everything in fats. So ketones and sugar is what the cells need to utilize and to break down to get energy. The issue is when other organs in your body is already compromised, and then you go on these high sugar diets, like high sugar juicing diets. So what I tell everybody is to make sure you eat your fruit whole, because if you eat your fruit whole, you getting all of the fiber with it. And what fiber does, fiber slows down sugar. So if you eat an apple, yes, the apple have high sugar in it, but the fiber from the skin of the sugar mixes with the sugar and it slows the sugar, the way it breaks down and be released into the bloodstream, it slows it down way more. So, on the juicing tip, if you doing high sugar juices like grape juice and orange juice and stuff like that, yeah, spike your blood sugar, and it wouldn't be good for you if you got fatty liver disease. So I would stay away from it then, but I would never tell anybody to stay away from holistic fruits, because fruits is what heals. Fruits is what open up the detoxification pathways. Fruits has got to have that structured HTO2 structured end zone exclusion water in it. We got cellular memory in it. Fruits are the only thing that we can eat that have its own DNA. It got mineral content when it goes through photosynthesis, everything in it itself. So you can eat a fruit and get the water from it, get all the phytonutrients, get all the minerals, and get all the amino acids you need just from a specific fruit. So I don't think fruit is bad. I think that our organs are bad and have been compromised from eating the way we've been eating for hundreds, even thousands of years. And now we're trying to get on the fruit diet. So we have these very dramatic detoxification responses from the fruit. And just like the allopathic community teaches us that these detoxification responses are disease, we think that the fruit it's bad for us because it's making us feel bad. No, it's detoxifying you, putting all of those toxins in the bloodstream to move it over to the plasma to get to the lymphatic system. And then by way of the lymphatic system, that's the way you clean the sewage system of the body to get rid of all the metabolic waste. Sugar is simple sugar, monosaccharides, polysaccharides. When you start getting into your maltose, your dextrose, and things like that, these are complex sugars. These are sugars that's hard to break down, and these are sugars that crystalline inside the actual body. And you see that with malt liquor. You see that with your heavy alcohol. These break down because it's already fermented, meaning they already have a sugar base. Then it mixes with your body, and it goes through methylation, and then you start seeing fruits. And everybody have their own tolerance. It's an art to heal own unique fingerprint to their body. So fruit might raise, but I eat that same fruit and it won't raise mine, or to raise mine and mine will go down and level itself out in the next hour or two. But I don't want to make no mistake about this. Anything we eat will raise your blood sugar. That's the whole point. And that's the whole point of the pancreas, and the pancreas creating beta cells to produce insulin to act as a key mechanism to unlock the cell door to allow sugar in, but we can burn that sugar for energy. So no matter what you eat, your blood sugar is going to spike. Diabetes is when the blood sugar stays spiked for a period amount of time and it never go down. And this messes up something called the glycocalyx inside of our body. The glycocalyx is this protein sugar base that lines the arteries, that protects your blood vessels, and it basically keep nitric oxide into the blood vessels to make sure all the goodies and all of the nutrients and phytochemicals are getting into the cells to keep your molecular structure strong. So I wouldn't say fruits are bad. I would say the body is bad. Fruits is trying to help the body. And we have been programmed to think that detoxification crisis is a bad thing, because you start coughing, you start feeling bad, you might break out in hives, you might throw up, you get diarrhea, and all these things are associated with what they call viruses and what they call disease. And just our indoctrination of the allopathic community and the pharmaceutical companies, we think it's a bad thing. But fruits are not bad at all. If you really get educated in the way your body naturally detox, you will see exactly what the fruit's doing is healing.
What advice do you give to the person who wants to go on this journey, but let's say their family or the people in their house don't support it and telling them you don't need to do that? What insight would you give them to be able to make it through a 90-day or 120-day cycle?
Love yourself more than you love your family. Simply. Love yourself more than you love your family. Love yourself more than you love your family. And then usually the people that's trying to keep you from it, they're indoctrinated and you're woke, and you have to understand that indoctrinated people or sleep people don't understand woke people. So it automatically make them seem negative, and they not being negative at all. They're being exactly what they're supposed to be, indoctrinated and programmed. And once that program is reprogrammed and they're re-educated, they become like you. So be the light. Go through it, love yourself more than them. And once they see your results, then the eureka moment will happen for them. And then next thing you know, your whole family is following you. It's the exact same thing that happened to me. My whole family went against me. I lost all that weight. They said, what you got? Caught the package? You sick? You know what I'm saying? What's going on with you? Why you? Yeah, you turned Muslim. It was so many things thrown out to me. And then I kept going through it. I never minded them. I love myself more. I really wanted to see myself feel better. And then once that radiation, that radiant skin came, that glow came, that weight loss came, I'm thinking better. My cognitive functioning is firing off. They like, yeah, what was that? Yahki? Could you make me some? Even my mama. Well, you know, I've been suffering from high blood pressure. What you do to get rid of your high blood pressure medication? So I healed my mama, then my sister, then my brother, then my neighborhood. And then that's how I end up getting in contact with that NBA player that got me in contact with everybody else. So you got to do what's best for you. Not saying neglect your family, but understand that we are all individuals and have an individual consciousness, even though we are part of a great conscious network. And the best decision you can make is choosing yourself first. And every time you choose yourself first in any situation, it will never backfire, and it will always bring people to you that you need to be around.
You said you lost 60 pounds in 2 days?
No, not 2 days. Oh, no, that'd be crazy. I probably died. But it was like a week and a half.
So you lost 60 pounds in a week and a half.
Yes.
Yeah, how that happen?
Man,
talk about that, because somebody here you lost 60 pounds in 10 days. They like that's impossible.
Yeah, everybody say that. Everybody say that. But no,
how'd you lose 60 pounds in 10 days?
So I was for one, it was a bunch of water weight, and it was a bunch of accumulation of inflammatory responses. I just went through this again where I lost 40 pounds in what, 2 months? I just lost 40 pounds 2 months. I know what the last time y'all seen me, I had a puffy face and everything. You lost a lot of weight. This is no Ozempic, no nothing. This is purely going back on what I did the first time. I did the first time. I lived my life. It was beautiful. I built this millions of communities, healed a bunch of people, but I started backtracking and started doing what I wanted to do, and I wasn't practicing what I was teaching. You know, I got big into my teaching and I started falling off and eating bad vegan food. So I ended up being inflamed. So I had to go back to the basics and get back down to my weight and become my message again. And I just applied the same principles and did the same thing. If you're inflamed and you're full of toxins, you open the floodgates. When you open the floodgates, it's going to be diarrhea. You're going to be throwing up. You're going to be sweating. You're going to be doing all these things to get rid of the toxins. Once the inflammation and the water weight leave, that's half your weight right there. The next is waste. The waste gonna come out through your urine and come out through your poop and come out through your skin. If you look real close at my face, you can still see the black spots from when my skin broke out real bad during this last detox I went through. It came through everywhere. So I lost 40 pounds in like a month and a half, 2 months just off of that. And then I was working out and doing metabolic workouts with it. So yes, we did. I lost about 60 pounds in about, I'm gonna say, I'll even give it 2 weeks. It wasn't more than 2 weeks though. And the first thing I lost was all the water weight. I got on diuretics, and what I call a diuretic would be dandelion leaf and dandelion root. I mixed that. I did tonics, I did tinctures, and I did teas. It had me urinating so much that I got rid of liters of just water waste. After that, all of my inflammation went away. That my inflammation alone was like 10 pounds of inflammation. I'm not even talking about weight. I'm just talking about being inflamed and having all of those tissues full of water and full of lymphatic fluid. Then I got rid of lymphatic waste. I got rid of mucus, and then I got rid of all of that bulk waste. And I was pooping out worms that had 6 heads, y'all. So in 2 weeks, I went through one of the most major detoxification crises I ever been through in my life. I thought I was gonna die, but I made it through it. My teacher at that time was telling me the same thing I'm telling y'all now. No, you're not dying. You're actually healing. It's called a detoxification crisis. You're getting rid of the waste. It's better out than in. In 2 weeks, man, I was down 60 pounds.
But how do you? But because Ian, because
no, go ahead.
I saw, and I'm gonna get your products as well because I need it. But I saw this thing on Instagram, and it was like a soursop thing, and it was like, all right, you get soursop, and you're going to see tapeworms in your stool, the whole thing. So I'm like, all right, I never detoxed before, so I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I think it helped a little bit, but I didn't see any worms. It didn't have the dramatic effect of that detox, like what you're describing is like a detox, and you flushing out the tapeworms and all this stuff. Like, how does one go about doing that?
Well, you got to do it the right way too. You got to set the moment, and then you probably, and I don't know you, brother. I don't know your biology like that, but you probably so full of waste that the waste got to come out first before you see the worms come out. When you look at worms and you look at parasitics like Toxoplasma gondii, Fasciola, Fasciolopsis, boyski, nematodes, fluke worms, hemith worms, hookworms, thread worms, they not in the open like that. Tapeworms are in the open. You got to pull these things from the wall of your intestines. They don't have teeth. They suck onto the wall of your intestines, and then they throw up this acid to break down your tissues. Once the tissue's broken down, they wiggle themselves inside the tissues, and then they plant their eggs, and they go through something called a larva migration period. So until you dig that deep, no worms are coming out. And then you got to make sure you're taking it with a binder, because when you kill these parasites, they go through something called parasitic lysis, where they explode. And when they explode, all of their DNA and all of their trauma, that waste go inside your system. And a lot of people get viral loads from this. This is where you see herpes come in at any viral load. I don't believe in an actual virus. I've never seen a virus live under a microscope ever in my life. And I'll pay anybody 20 grand to show me a live virus on a microscope that's not drawing up, because I believe that most of these things come from within inside of the body, exosomes and lysosomes. I think it comes from within us. I believe that if it is a virus, it was in fact man-made in a laboratory, and it was used as biological chemical weapons of warfare. So when you see these parasites, you got to dig deep to get them out. So I tell everybody, me and IB, we tell everybody, give me 16 to 21 days. If you cleanse right and you do everything I say, you'll see your first parasite. Especially people that's dealing with like herpes and things like that, because that's greatly associated with Candida albicans, deep Candida thrust, and it's dealing with Fasciola and Escherichia parasite. You can't tell me any disease you can name, I can give you the parasite for it. For instance, diabetes, that come from Pancreaticum uretrema fluke worm. pancreaticum uretrema flukeworm. When you start talking about MFs and multiple sclerosis, them are nematodes. They physically found nematodes in the spinal fluid of all MS patients that they gave their body back to science. When we talk about MS, multiple sclerosis, when they have lesions on their brain, they found in 2 studies in China, those lesions was actually a dead pinworm in the brain that calcified. There wasn't even lesions. It was dead parasites on the brain. You see that? So any place in your body, and the parasites is not to blame. The parasites love trash. They love waste. They're pleomorphic. So if you can fix the terrain and fix the environment where the body's in, then the parasites won't even come in the first place. But to answer your question, though, it'd be to set it. You got to give yourself time. You got to think about it, brother. Like me being 36 years old, right? I ate horrible my whole life up until I was 21. I haven't even lived that in full yet on the other side. You see that? What I'm saying? I'm not 42. I'm not 41. So it takes that long to truly fully heal. I got rid of my symptomologies, but I still be feeling traumatic pains and stuff like that. I just had to get my whole mouth reconstructed, y'all. I got my jaw broke and shattered when I was 16. They had to take the metal out of my face and put in human bone because the metal was leaking into my bloodstream, and I ended up developing a liver cyst from the nickel and the titanium that was in my mouth. I teach against getting your mouth fixed. I teach against dental implants. I had to get it because they had to remove all my teeth to remove the bone, to remove the metal, to put human bone back into me. I got somebody else's bone in my face, y'all. You see what I'm saying? So it takes a while. What you do when you're younger affects you for the rest of your life. And a lot of us are just going to be cleansing for the rest of our lives. And I'm one of them persons that's going to be cleansing and detoxing for the rest of my life to undo the things I did when I was younger. And I'm just trying to warn the younger generation, you don't have to be like that if you get it right now.
For the audience, what are the top 5 foods that causes parasites?
The top 5 foods. Now, this is going to blow your mind. Meat causes a lot of the very, very damaging parasites. Vegetables have so many parasites in them. Berries, like strawberries, blueberries, a lot of parasites. I know y'all think I've just been blaming it on the meat, but no, parasites in anything that's living or that was once living. And that's the reason why anywhere in any other country, or what they call third world countries, quote unquote, they do parasitic cleanses every season, because everybody know that you're a biological living entities, and parasites need biological living hosts to live in to travel from place to place. So every food, there is not no top food, is every food. If you're eating living food, it's going to have parasites in them.
Sushi, because I've been seeing that. I've been seeing
sushi and oysters, oysters, fish, and sushi's, oysters, fish, and chicken is my number top 4. Fact, my bad. Sushi's, oysters, fish, pork, and chicken. That'd be my top 5. Pork, definitely pork, because pork have a bunch of tapeworms in them as well. Then will be my top 5. But we got top 5 in fruits. It'd be blueberries, it'd be strawberries, it'd be bananas, it'd be watercress. Watercress have so many parasites in them. It'd be watercress, and it'd be figs. Bunch of parasites in them.
So how do you get rid of, because what you described is every food, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
How does one go about, or can you, it's just unavoidable, that's why you need to do the cleanse to get rid of it?
Exactly, brother. So it's unavoidable, but you do have devices that people are selling now, and a lot of people wash them the best they can with vinegar and baking soda, what you'll call sodium bicarbonate. That'll get the surface ones out, but you ain't gonna miss the parasites. That's the whole point of detoxification and cleansing. We have to detoxify our bodies. God created our body to heal itself. We have 3 major systems in our bodies. The blood feeds the cells of the body. The lymphatic system cleanses the cells of the body. The nervous system commands and talks and communicates with the cells of the body. God created you with a lymphatic system and a glymphatic system for a reason, because you were made to detox, because the world is toxic. Even if we go back to the beginning, before there was dirty electricity, before there were artificial lights, before there were cell phones, before there were all the environmental pollutants, you still had to detoxify, because what you eat have to be broken down and have to utilize energy. Whenever you utilize energy, there's a byproduct that's created from it. I can eat all the fruits I want in the world. It can be alkaline forming in the world. It's going to create these byproducts that if I don't get rid of is going to become toxic. Toxicity then drives deficiency. Deficiencies then drives adaptation. Adaptation drives mutation of the cells. So whether we in the perfect world or not, if I'm eating, the energy I'm consuming have to burn up that food. The byproduct of that burn is same thing if you get a car and you need to put gas in the tank. What's coming out of the tailpipe once you start the car up? But you just use the most premium gas ever. So to burn and utilize energy, you create toxic byproducts. When God created beautiful, the byproduct of it was what, y'all? Something was ugly. When God created up, down came from it. It's duality, light, darkness. That's what happens in life. It's the pendulum. It swings back and forth. So we can speak healthy all we want. If we don't know how to detoxify and open up our elimination pathways, that's what makes you sick.
I definitely want to try. I want to do this. I want to do this because I've been wanting to do a cleanse for a long time. Not anything. It's nothing in particular that I need. I feel like I need, but I just because a friend of mine went to Dr. Sebi's his compound when he was still alive in Honduras.
Shout out to Dr. Sebi, man, the most I rest his soul.
Yeah, for sure. Because my mom actually. So my mom, this is like 30 years ago, maybe longer. Maybe like 35 years ago. And she had a lot of health problems. She was kind of overweight. And this is when he was actually living in New York. So he used to have a spot in Brooklyn. And she went to him. And she lost like a lot of weight. And she became a vegetarian. She's been vegetarian ever since. So I had heard about Dr. Sebi's like 95, 94. Because she was actually one of the people that was actually under his tutelage in person when he was still allowed to be in America. So I had always been aware of this, but it's like life happens and you kind of, like I said, I never really went too far. I think my diet is pretty good, but I definitely want to do the detox because I just feel like it would be beneficial.
Well, look, do this for me, brother. Let my team send you the detox. I send it for free. I send all of y'all some books. I don't expect y'all to read this whole big thing all at once, but just choose a topic and dive in on it, man. And you see how enlightening this thing is, man. So once we get done, we can talk to my assistant and we'll get info. I'll send y'all out some stuff as early as tomorrow, and I'll send y'all some books and stuff. And let's do it. And then the beautiful thing about the book, the last chapter, is the actual diet and the guide. It tells you what to do from when you wake up in the rising, every hour of the hour to when you go to sleep. And it tells you what scientifically is happening in your body if you take my herbs and you do the diet with it. So I think it'll help y'all out a lot.
No, I appreciate it, man. So yeah, definitely talk about the book. Talk about, you have a clinic, right?
Yeah, yep. I got a clinic. We just bought a school, 38,000 square feet. We opened it up May the 5th. It's
Congrats.
Done. We had all of our inspections done. That's beautiful. Yeah, man, we got so much stuff going on. But yeah, I just bought a school out there in St. Louis, Missouri.
A school for children or a school like for adults?
No, it's a school for teenager and adults. For teenager and adult, and it's for them to come and learn alternative ways of healing and learn from our different perspective and from our own educational standpoint. Because we understand when you talk about science, even when you talk about mathematics, you talk about health, you talk about wellness, and even economics, it's all from a cultural view or a cultural standpoint. And depending on the lens that the culture you're looking through, it means different things. And I talk about the power of defining a lot, because whoever have the power to define a thing, that things then stick and make an impression in the world, and it is what it is. So the power to define in the allopathic community is there's a such thing as, incurable diseases. There's certain diseases that you can get that's not curable. They define that. But from our cultural aspect and me having my hands in the field, I redefine that. No, it's not a disease, it's a dis-ease. And this dis-ease is coming from blocked energy, from metabolic toxic and waste. And my body is now trying to detoxify itself. When it's detoxifying, it's giving me these symptoms. And then these symptoms is what they label disease, but I'm labeling it a healing mechanism. And I show all the sources, the articles, and the science to back up everything I say. So this book is to change your perspective. That's the reason why it's called Healing the Illusion we call disease, the Bible of health. It's to change your perspective. I'm changing the way we define words, because the way you define words changes your belief, and your belief truly scientifically changes your biology. So if you get diagnosed with cancer by the allopathic community, they say you got cancer. They tell you that cancer is a genetic thing. It's a mutation. It's a virus. And they say you got to hack off some things, or you got to get chemotherapy to burn them out. You got to get mutilated and all these other things. You got to go to war with. You have to go to war with your body because you believe that your body is going to war and attacking itself. I teach that cancer is a tumor, which is a fleshly trash bag. This fleshly trash bag is made to put toxins in because the toxins can't stay in the tissues or stay in the bloodstream because it will kill you quicker. So the body was uniquely created by God to say, hold on, I got all these toxins accumulated in the body. It can't go in the bloodstream because I'm gonna die of acidosis. So let me create this fleshly trash bag, go through something called tumor genesis, put all of these toxins in this trash bag until you do something with it. So I teach you how to take out the trash. I don't teach you chemotherapy. I don't teach you Zyklon's weapons of warfare. I don't teach you to hack and mutilate your body. I teach you how to open up those detoxification pathways. And then when people do that, 98% of them, the tumor shrinks and dissolves. Why? Because you got rid of the trash. There's no longer a need for the trash bag. So it's a different perspective. And that's what we need, cultural perspective. Our people have the biggest cultural identity crisis on earth. And that's why we involved in everybody else's cultures. We believe in it and we get sick and we die from it, while every other culture profit from our declining culture. Mm-hmm. So the power to define is one of the most powerful things that we have to take control of. And that's why I'm so appreciative for 19 Keys, my brother, for even introducing y'all to me. Y'all platform is so big. Y'all are a big part of that culture where y'all can help redefine certain meanings to help mold and shape the consciousness of our people. We don't have to look at math the same way everybody else do. We don't have to look at health and education and economics the same way that everybody else do, because everybody else don't look at the same way that everybody else do. We the only people that grab and follow everybody else when we have our own identity, we have our own languages, we have our own cultures, we have our own everything, but it's been stripped from us. So since we don't know it, we allow people to tell us who we are, what we are, when we are, and why we are, and where we are. So this book just comes to debunk that and to give you your true power back, and it leaves you with the choice to either change or not, but at least you know.
Yeah, at least you know. Powerful, brother.
That's impactful, man. Can you give them the website, your social media, how to get information about the school, the whole rundown?
Yeah, and what products to get from you as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So anybody for this particular segment, it'd be the Parasite Elimination Kit. Since we dive deep into that, I say utilize all the free resources on the website. Go to the education tab, click on the Eat to Live page. If you want to get into the clinic is booked up right now. We open back up to May 5th, but we're gonna be booked for like 3 months because we already got the whole. It's probably like 430 people just on the waiting list, so we got to book them all up. But just stay on YahkiAwaken.com, www.YahkiAwakened.com. That's where I sell the book at. I don't sell the book on Amazon. There's thousands of people pretending to be me that is not me. If it ain't got 1 million followers, or at least over 500,000 followers with a blue check, I promise you it's not me. I don't respond to inboxes. I get like thousands of inboxes a day. If they communicating with you to you beyond my website, that's not me. It's people getting you for your money, family. And to me, it's just crazy how y'all let these people get y'all, but y'all find the right person when it's time to complain about how y'all got. I don't get that. They find me to say I got scammed, but they couldn't find me before that. So I'm still trying to work that out in my spirit mind. But on social media, when you go to YouTube, Yahki Awaken, it's a verified blue check on the page. On Instagram is Yahki Awaken, verified check blue page. On Facebook is Yahki Rafa Elohim, verified check blue page. They kicked me off TikTok. They won't let me join back, so I do not have a TikTok. All of those on me. We got over 470 million views on TikTok. None of it's me. It's all people just regurgitating my content and recycling. Yeah. Shouts out to y'all for it. The ones that's not getting money, shouts out to y'all for it. That means y'all really believe in the information. But my website is my point of contact. It's how you get to me. We stationed in St. Louis, Missouri. The school will be open May 5th. We're going to do a whole cameo on that and have people come down. We'll release that. We got a big retreat coming up. There's a lot of stuff going on. So just keep up with me through my website and through my verified blue check pages on social media. But I promise you, y'all, Healing Illusion We Call Disease. I just got a bunch of copies in. We're starting to ship them off now. This will change the world and will change the way that we think about our bodies and our connection with Earth, the Sun, and God, y'all.
Nah, I appreciate you, brother. I'm gonna connect with your team offline.
Yeah,
I definitely want that kit. And then I just had a question. I'm gonna ask you offline. I'll connect because a friend of mine actually knew that you was coming on, and he wanted me to ask you a question, but it's kind of like a personalized question. So if you have time, I'll send it to your team, and then yeah. But
all right, I got time for you. All right, and I'm gonna have her hit y'all up. We're gonna send it to y'all. I'm gonna send y'all the books. And when I know y'all busy like me, but when y'all get time, just read a page and tell me what y'all think.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through it.
Nah, we'll do, brother. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you, my brother.
All right, peace.
Was he about to say something? All right. Oh, he's good. Are they trying to say something?
Yeah. April said, can you drop the email or contact in the chat so she can call you real fast?
Okay. Troy, can you drop the email?
Put mine in there too.
All right.
All right.
Got you. Thank you.
Peace, family. Thank y'all. Peace.
Thank you, man.
Peace. All right.
Amazing conversation.
That was insightful, man.
Yeah, super insightful, yo.
That was very insightful, man.
And he's another one of the ones like he's Budgetista. They don't need much prompting. That's a great lesson for your brand. Talk through your points, be passionate, be on target, share information that most people haven't heard. Because I heard the same thing about the sushi with the parasites, but I didn't know that were vegetables. Like, so even in how he delivered the information, in each segment, he was sharing something that most people didn't know. Absolutely brilliant, brother, for real.
Yeah, I mean, you always know if somebody knows their stuff, they don't ask like, what's the questions that you're going to ask me, or ask me these particular questions. Just like, yo, whatever y'all want to talk about, let's just go. And then it's not just like a one word answer. It's like, a detailed answer. So that definitely lets you know. But yeah, I mean, it's insightful. It's important. I feel like, especially for a lot of our audience, obviously, entrepreneurs and people that's interested in money and investing. But A, it makes no sense to get money if you're not healthy enough to even enjoy it. Mm-hmm. And B, just on the pursuit of actually becoming successful in business and you got to have the energy. Like,
absolutely.
Like, I mean, like, it's a reason why most CEOs are physically fit and they work out and stuff like that. Like, you don't really see a lot of obese CEOs at a Fortune 500 level. Rare. Like, you have to, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And you got to have the mental clarity and you got to have the energy to be able to perform at a high level. Mm. And so it all ties in. All of this stuff ties in.
Amazing guest. I already was a fan of his, but like you said, to see the intellectual aptitude, like, it's been a super informative week. Keys Monday, him today, amazing episode coming up tomorrow.
Julian tomorrow. And that's for all you people that was like, oh my God, you
guys were off track.
You're turning into, what are you turning into? Shade room?
And the funny part about that, when people be like, yo, why y'all have Aisha or whomever, I never see y'all comment on the investing shit. I never see you. You gave out hundreds of stocks, entry points, 5x, 10x return. I never see you comment. It's a loss leader. Gotcha.
Facts.
Yeah.
All right.
Can we talk about the deed theft going on in New York?
Yeah. That's disturbing. Let's play this clip, shall we?
When gentrification happens, everybody says you should have bought a home. But what happens when your home gets stolen from you? Well, I'm in Bedside, Brooklyn, and I'm here to talk about deed theft. I'm at 212 Jefferson Avenue, and unfortunately, the family that lives here is experiencing deed theft. But what is deed theft? Deed theft is a type of real estate fraud where someone illegally transfers ownership of a property into their name without the original owner knowing. Deed theft typically happens by targeting vulnerable properties such as homes owned outright, meaning they don't have a mortgage, vacant properties or second homes, and elderly owners, especially elderly owners, because they're usually not on top of their paperwork. They also sometimes forge documents, or sometimes they file documents to the city saying they own the property. After owning your property, they might sell the house to an unsuspecting buyer, or they might actually take out loans using your property as collateral. Or They could even rent it out and collect money on your property. The craziest part about deed theft is that you might not even know that your house actually was a victim of deed theft until months later when the police show up and they tell you have to leave the property.
Hi, my name is Carmela Charrington. I live at 212 Jefferson.
My name is Ray Cortez. My father's a victim of deed theft at 91 St. Mark's Place.
200 Jefferson Avenue Block Association president. We've just been working with our community to help protect our neighbors.
I'm Chief Minister Omar Hardy. I'm the owner, in fact, of the Slave Theater and the Black Lady Theater as well. The Slave Theater was knocked down unlawfully and stolen from my family and the community by way of deed theft, and as well as the Black Lady Theater, stolen as well and away from my family and the community.
Hi, my name is Tashelle LeBlanc. I am an honorary resident of 212, Kamala's lifetime friend, 42 years.
This is a form of deed theft by conservatorship, guardianship. The conservatorship was in the state of Georgia. Georgia signed off with these shell developers and signed off and said that the property was for sale. They sold the property. It was in a litigation. It was in court. They discontinued the case, and then they went amongst each other and signed off and said that they sold the property for whatever amount. And then they came into my house and broke in and said, "We're the new owners of the property." Right.
Wow.
And then that's when the series of stuff have started with saying, "No, this is a deed theft case."
As a Bed-Stuy native, I stand with 212 Jefferson Avenue, and I want to keep people in Bed-Stuy, so I want their story to be told.
Okay. I heard about this before. This Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. I had heard about this before, but I never really knew exactly what it was going on. And I'm just seeing more and more clips on social media, and it's been popping up. So disturbing. What's your thoughts on this?
I keep saying, as soon as you accumulate the money, that's the first part of the game, the first phase. Phase 2 through 5 is you having to find out all the scams that people have to take your money away from you. Just like you have endless inflation, no one talks about it because it's a crass thing to do. But after you accumulate a certain amount of money, there's angles everyone in the world has to take your money away from you. This is one of them. Deed theft, a similar thing is happening in claiming of businesses or claiming of IP. You have to be worried about lawsuits. It's endless, the list of ways people can extract money from you. And even in health, you can accumulate all this money, and then no matter how much money you have, you can get sick. And people have run tabs up of $4 and $5 million trying to get healthy, or on the lower end in impoverished neighborhoods, $200,000 and $300,000 in chemo or kidney replacement or dialysis. Got to be careful. But what are your thoughts on this since you're in New York?
I saw somewhere that they were talking about legislation. They definitely need to have legislation, because that's just crazy that you could just file something with the clerk, and or you can just file something, and that doesn't even make sense to me. Like, and then you could just say I own it now because I mean, in this day and age of blockchain, once again, this goes back to technology, right? In this day and age of blockchain, because the last time I did something with real estate, I had to refinance a property, and man, I had to sign so many pieces of paper. It was at least 400 pieces of paper, and I told Lee, I said, look, this is definitely not archaic, because there's definitely going to be mistakes made. There's no way I'm signing 400 papers, and you telling me where's all this paper going? Who's filing it? Who's checking all of these pages? Like, this is a system ripe for mistakes. And so that whole real estate system needs to be completely overhauled. And it should be blockchain technology. That's where NFTs come into play. The NFT for your house, you're the only person with this particular, like, nobody, you can't just file a paper and say that I changed it, whatever. Yeah. But you got to stay on top of your stuff, man. You own a property. Make sure you pay your taxes, because that's another way they get you. Make sure you pay your taxes. Make sure that you staying up on it. Make sure that you stop in the property, or have somebody else stop in. But a lot of people are vulnerable, are older,
yeah,
or may have not the same mental capacity that they once had, and it leads to a lot of issues. So It's disheartening, but that's another, gentrification doesn't just happen just from a standpoint of you sell. Sometimes gentrification happens because you got swindled.
Yeah, or they force you out.
And that's not talked about enough either. I think even in LA, they had the whole Manhattan Beach and one of these things. A lot of black people in America have lost their land from being an intimate domain.
Yep.
Where the government took it. They were swindled out of it. They that happened. That's not talked about enough either.
Nope. Got to be careful. And like you said, same with the house. You're going to have the capacity and energy to make these other things a full-time job to protect the assets that you've accumulated. People going to, even with social media, accounts have been hacked, can't get them back. You have to spend a lot of time learning how to play defense at a high clip if you want to be successful. Like, you think you'll be able to get $2 million, $5 million and just rest? Not that easy. It's not that easy. So.
Okay.
Yeah. NBA playoffs start. I got a question for you. I got to ask.
Yes, sir.
NBA conspiracy time. You think the Mavericks got Cooper Flag as an offset for Luka being stolen from the Mavericks and put on LA?
I don't know, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. I think Dallas is a sports city. I think that definitely was a bad decision for them to get rid of Luka. Future looked and you really got rid of one white superstar for another one, really. And the way that this dude Cooper Flag's been playing, he might be better than all of them. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's not.
When did they stop doing the little basket where they'll show the draft picks?
They stopped doing
that? It's a few drafts. I was like,
yeah, the draft. They've just always been San Antonio. They've benefited from the draft.
Legendary draft picks.
But also, there's a lot of teams that's benefited from the draft that just made bad decisions. So we can't always go by that. Cleveland. Remember, at one point, Cleveland was getting number one draft picks every single year.
Bad organization.
Now, granted, they did draft some good players, obviously. LeBron James, and they drafted Kyrie Irving.
Even that one's just, that's interesting. Poole landed in Chicago. It's a few that's like, how'd that happen?
Yeah. It's not out of the realm, especially with all the sports betting that's been going on now. And we know how much money is being made. I would not say that it's impossible. I'll tell you that much. Anything is possible.
Shaq told the story. He was like, Stern was like, you either gonna go to Florida or LA. Pick. That's crazy. You think he the only one? Shout out to Adam Silver, NBA. Love y'all dearly. We talking about the league before you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Allegedly, all that.
Allegedly.
It's interesting. It is interesting.
All right. Anything else we need to talk on?
No, we covered MAGA falling apart. Thank you for not having this Tupac conversation.
Oh, yeah, no. Rest in peace to Pop.
I was prepared. Thank you for not bringing up the Ben 10 conversation. Thank you. No, we good. D theft. Let's see. You got another favorite NBA conspiracy? Or no?
A favorite NBA conspiracy? I don't know, because I feel like, I don't know. A lot of NBA conspiracies was kind of, you could say like, okay, the NBA always wants big market teams to win, but then the Knicks haven't won, and they're the biggest market.
That's true. That's a great point. What don't we do? Oh, Kenyon brought up a great point, and I didn't think of it, but is Jokic a top 5 NBA center of all time?
Technically, yeah. I mean, I never really was a big Jokic fan. But I can't hate on it. Yeah, I'm not a Jokic fan.
You think he's more?
But technically, I think he said Kareem. It was Kareem, Shaq, Will Chamberlain, Kareem, Hakeem Olajuwon, and him. So I mean, the only other person would be who? Bill Russell would be in contention.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't think of that many. David Robinson.
Well, who else would you have? David Robinson. I don't think David Robinson was on that level.
No.
So Bill Russell is probably the only person,
only one
that is outside. That's outside that 5 that you could say deserves to be in that 5. Outside of that, yeah, I don't think there's any other competition.
Incredible season, yo.
Yeah, no, he put numbers up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think he's probably top 5. I think he's top 5 for sure.
Yeah, you don't like his game?
I don't like his game.
It's boring.
Yeah.
I see that.
Yeah,
his court vision is insane though.
No, he's a great player, but it's just like me watching Luka. I mean, Luka, he's amazing. Me watching Joker, and just like for the excitement level, I can't do it.
Yeah, he had moments of flash, but he is super fundamentally sound though. He's tough though.
He's
tough and a competitor.
Yeah, that's a fact. All right,
that's it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, 12 o'clock, make sure you check out the episode with Julian Brown, turning plastic into fuel for your car. Mm-hmm. And then Troy's options class is tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Tap in with that. And then Chicago, we will be in your area this weekend.
Chi-Town.
Yep.
Check Kajabi for Stock Club prices. Next Stock Club call will be April 26th. I got some surprises. Tune in early. Love y'all. See y'all in Atlanta next weekend and video next week. So it's going to be a good time.
All right, y'all. We'll tap in with you guys. Peace.
Thank y'all for coming out. Peace. Be back to Toxic next week, though.